Hello, good evening and welcome back to a very messy Houseborns World YouTube channel. Not that you guys out there would know that, because I am using the Nvidia Broadcaster software to change my background. And currently in the background I have a DNA helix, which sort of brings us towards the point of tonight's video, because if, like me today, you were busy on a little project, or you were working, or you were just somewhere else, you may have missed episode 2 of AMD's press conference where gaming begins. In the first press conference we had the 5000 Ryzen CPUs announced, and in this press conference the AMD Radeon Graphics division have announced their GPUs. And finally, once again, they are trading blows, if not beating Nvidia in some titles. Now, we've not seen them trading blows since the R9 Fury X versus the 980 Ti. But time moved on and Nvidia wiped the floor with AMD in the GPU market. AMD with RDNA was catching up a little bit, but RDNA 2 has brought performance leaps that, let's be honest, many of you didn't see coming on the table. And this time around, as is normal, if you read between the lines of the rumours, this wasn't actually that big of a shock. But I think what surprised most people, that Nvidia's 8K gaming RTX 3090 card is no longer the clear market leader, because AMD has released the 6900 XT that, using its rage overclocking mode and its super fast pre-cache, is now trading blows there and thereabouts with an RTX 3090, but on sheer price absolutely whips Nvidia. And that's the thing, on paper and on price AMD wins. But here's my quandary, and this is where I'd like to get your opinions at home. Let me explain. If you're an AMD fanboy, you're going to be loving this and you're going to buy AMD. If you're an Nvidia fanboy, you're just going to buy Nvidia for the stability and just knowing that it's going to work. If, like myself, where the wallet votes and the head votes, you may be stuck somewhat in the middle. Now, as I'm buying or potentially going to buy an AMD Ryzen 5000 series CPU, the fact that AMD have announced that if you pair it with an if you pair your new RDNA 2 graphics card with a Ryzen 5000 series CPU on an X570 motherboard, the graphics cache and the cache on a CPU will have a super fast bandwidth that will give you increased performance that you're just not going to get in an Intel system. Now, like that, we can be bought into some systems in other ways. If you've been following my channel, you would know back last year I bought the LG C9 OLED TV that comes with G-Sync compatibility via firmware and the software and the Nvidia graphics drivers. You'll know I've been waiting for HDMI 2.1, and what better marries up with that system than an Nvidia graphics card. I am currently using my Nvidia graphics card to record this using Nvidia's broadcaster software. Not only that, the Nvidia NVENC encoder, when I'm recording games and playing games in 4K all at the same time, has worked flawlessly. Now, I'm not putting AMD to one side at this point, because the money I would save going from AMD, am I really bothered about G-Sync? Maybe not. Am I bothered that I wouldn't be able to use the NVIDIA broadcast software? A little bit, but for the amount of money that I would save between the different prices of the graphics card, I could buy paid for software to do exactly what I'm doing right here and right now. But I currently own an RTX 2080 Ti. My previous graphics card was an R9 Fury X, and I've been burnt by AMD before. I always remember Lisa Su's comments saying the R9 Fury X was going to be an overclocker's dream. No, it wasn't. It wasn't an overclocker's dream. In fact, it hardly overclocked. But the one thing it did have going for it was that it was water cooled, it was silent, and it ran very, very cool. Now the problem when I had my R9 Fury X was it had a few little wobbles with green screens, and I bounced back and forth between drivers like a classic game of Ping on one of the very first Atari consoles. I was plagued by drivers that worked and then didn't work, and playing some older games and newer games that it was a bit poor, to say the least. Now, since going to NVIDIA, I have had one memory crash in a game, and I think that was game optimization, and I'd overclocked my card too much. But that's it. In all the nearly, I think, 2 years now that I've owned my RTX 2080 Ti, it's been rock solid. I have never, ever, ever, ever rolled back a driver. And even in the Windows environment, when I went from AMD to NVIDIA, the difference, you could physically feel and tell it was smoother, it was more solid. It's just been absolutely 100% reliable. Now NVIDIA has DLSS, it also has its ray tracing tensor cores. It's actual hardware doing the ray tracing, so NVIDIA has advantage there. But AMD is now also doing ray tracing via its software and drivers, and although it's not as good as NVIDIA, it works. Now everyone's looking at me as the influencer, and I'm telling you now at home, I don't know which way I'm going to fall. If you're following my channel, you know I game at 4K. I wanted to game at 4K 120 Hz in this generation, especially with new AAA games, not the older ones but new ones. It's still too much of a push that we have seen with the 3090 and the 6900 XT. So I'm going to have to say the 6900 XT, purely on price, is where I'm looking. Now, I can't believe NVIDIA is going to let AMD just take this one. I don't believe that. And although the Ti and the Super models lower down in the NVIDIA range have been cancelled, or so we believe they've been cancelled, once again the rumour has risen that there is an RTX 3080 Ti coming. Now this is where I'm beginning to think, the 3090 is NVIDIA's flagship 8K gaming card. The 3080 Ti is going to sit below that and above a 3080. So the performance and price has to be in there to match. Now, if it matches the price, the performance is not going to be as good as the 3090. Now the 6900 XT is going to be on par, trading blows with 3090, but could be the price of an RTX 3080 Ti, which it's going to have a few more cut down cores, we might perform near a 3090, but it's not, it can't. If it performs at the speed of a 3090, everybody who bought the 3090, you really wasted your money, unless you're using it for machine learning for what it was really made for. So I don't know where I'm going to fall at the minute. As I say, you looking at me as the influencer, I'm looking at you out there because there's people with far more knowledge than me. What are your thoughts? Would you go for AMD or would you go for Nvidia? I'd love to know. Please comment down below. One thing's for sure, I'm going a Ryzen 5900X. I think that's pretty much written in stone. But I still don't know at this point in time whether I'm going to power it with Nvidia, go for stability, go for what I know, go for what I know is working. It will work with my G-Sync, it works with my NVENC recording, it works with Nvidia Broadcaster. Or do I take the AMD cheaper option? Do I have that, linking with the CPU? And do I find other routes of software to provide the service I'm bringing to you at the moment? Is it really, do I really have to stick with Nvidia? I don't know. Please give me your thoughts. These are exciting times. It's been a while. AMD and Nvidia. Let's see how this one plays out. Comment down below. Don't forget to like the video. Give it a thumbs up. And if you're here and you haven't subscribed, get subscribed now. Thank you for watching. And all I have to say is, peace out.